Welcome to Hey Mom, We Never Prepared for This, the show where we have the tough conversations around aging and caring for a loved one. Whether you're an adult child or an aging parent or anyone caring for a loved one, this podcast is for you. I am your host, Angela Vanderpool, and each episode we dive into actionable tips, heartfelt stories, and expert guidance to support you on your journey. Let's get started. Welcome back to Hey Mom, We Never Prepared for This. I'm your host, Angela Vanderpool, and today we're kicking off a very special series sponsored by Dharma Healthcare Management, highlighting the 5 unique senior living communities they proudly manage. Each of these communities represents the heart of Dharma's mission to provide exceptional care with compassion, integrity, and purpose. And while they all share the same core values, each one brings its own personality, legacy, and sense of home. We're beginning our series at Horton Plaza Retirement, located in beautiful East Medford, Oregon. Since opening its doors in 1995, Horton Plaza has been the perfect combination of independent living and high-quality care, offering robust social programs, personalized services, and a genuine sense of community. Founders Larry and Ann Horton didn't just create Horton Plaza, they lived it. It was their home for 25 years, and the warmth, dedication, and uncompromising standards they built into every corner of this community still shine through today. Dharma Healthcare is proud to carry on that legacy, and today we're going behind the scenes to meet 2 of the people who bring it all to life. Danielle Stovall, General Manager, and Erin Osuna, Personal Care Director. Together, we'll explore what makes Horton Plaza more than just a place to live, and why for so many families, it's a place that truly feels like home. Hello, and welcome back to Hey Mom, We Never Prepared for This. I'm your host, Angela Vanderpool, and today I'm super excited to be joined by 2 special guests from one of our amazing communities, Horton Plaza Retirement. With me today are Danielle, the General Manager, and Erin, the Residential Care Coordinator. I've had the privilege of seeing firsthand the heart and care that both of you bring to Horton Plaza, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. So welcome to the show, Danielle and Erin, and I would love to start by giving our listeners a little bit of background. Would you both mind sharing how long you've been a part of the Horton Plaza community and what your current role is there at Horton Plaza?
My name is Danielle Stovall, and I'm the General Manager at Horton Plaza, and I have been with our company and here at Horton Plaza for a little over 20 years. So that's me.
Very nice. Thanks,
And-
Danielle.
And my name is Erin Osuna, and I am the Personal Care Director here for Assisted Living. And I have been a part of the Horton Plaza community for over 20 years. I first started at Horton Plaza as a weekend receptionist, and then I started doing private care around all their communities. And then I became the Personal Care Director about 3.5 years ago.
Great. Thank you, guys. I love starting with that because it always grounds us in the people behind the work. So next, I want to kind of talk about the bigger picture of Horton Plaza and talking a little bit about the legacy of Horton Plaza. So Horton Plaza has been a part of the Southern Oregon community for over 30 years, which is definitely quite the legacy. And Danielle and Erin, what does it mean to you personally to be a part of a community with that kind of history and impact?
I think being locally owned and operated by the Horton family gives us the privilege of serving the community at a deeper and more connected level. It grants us the opportunity to serve our residents, our families, and all of our friends. There's a higher sense of connection because we are locally owned and not a corporate style operation, which I think that is just a very different feel in our community. It gives us the freedom to create innovative programming for our seniors. The Horton family is deeply rooted in the Rogue Valley. They've been here for over 100 years, and Horton and her family own Lawrence Jewelers. So they've been here for a long time. They believe in supporting local businesses and programs throughout our greater community. Such programs that the Horton family and our community have supported are Access, Food and Friends, the Medford Senior Center, the Pear Blossom, Art and Bloom, the Genealogy Society, Jazz Festival, Maslow, and the Medford Food Project are just a few of the organizations that the Horton family has supported over the years. And we are big believers in taking care of each other and taking care of our residents to the highest level of integrity possible. And we believe that if we have a great community that surrounds us, then we all have the resources and connections that we need to help serve all of our seniors. So that's a little bit about Horton Plaza and the legacy that I think that we instill in our community.
Thank you, Danielle. That's great. Erin?
The Hortons have such a deep ties to the Rogue Valley. People constantly will tell me stories about growing up with Craig or going to church or serving on a board with Larry or buying jewelry from Anne. But when I share that I've been part of their care teams over the years, there's an instant sense of connection. It reminds me that what we do is not just work, it's personal, it's local, and it's deeply meaningful. And it means a lot to people that I have that connection to the Hortons, that they do the same connection.
That's great. Thank you both for sharing a bit of the history and legacy of what makes Horton Plaza what it is. Danielle, can you talk to us a little bit about how you have seen Horton Plaza evolve over the years, and through all those changes, what core values have remained the same?
Of course, Horton Plaza is consistently looking at our programming for our residents, and our residents are actively engaged in the feedback that they give us surrounding our services. Over the years, we've evolved our services in many different areas to fit the needs and wants of our residents, employees, and their families. Some areas that we have evolved over the years is our ultimate dining program. We went from having structured 3 meals a day dining times with limited menu options to all-day open restaurant-style dining with over 30 entree items, and it's delicious. I eat in our dining room every day. So good. We evolved our transportation program to structured transportation days, from structured transportation days to offering transportation 7 days a week, which is huge for our residents to give them lots of options. We also evolved our activity programming into being able to offer destination-style travel interstate and outside of the country to places such as Hawaii and Costa Rica. So that's something that we've listened to our residents and gained their feedback and offered more activities such as those. We also went from offering a few fitness classes a week to now having a full-time fitness director and multiple fitness classes and personal training. Horton Plaza is constantly evolving, listening to the needs and wants of our residents, and we try our hardest to make the big and the little things happen for them. Mm-hmm. Our 4 core values, which is belonging, integrity, respect, and dedication. A few quotes from our founder, Larry Horton, are: be a good friend to others, maintain a level of excellence in everything you do, and of course, we have to lead by example. Our values that have been maintained through our entirety at Horton Plaza, and we will continue to do so. So I think that our core values have remained the same, but also evolved throughout the years. So just a little bit on that.
That's great. Thank you, Danielle. And I can definitely second the fact that the food is amazing. So yes, definitely a big plus at Horton Plaza. Next, I would like to get a little bit more personal because obviously we know the work that we do is deeply personal. So I'm wondering if you could tell me a little bit about what first drew you to senior living and what keeps you showing up each day with the level of heart and commitment that you obviously have for this.
Well, I originally started in senior living while I was going to school for nursing over 20 years ago. And I realized fairly quickly that the residents, the owners, and the staff are the reason why I keep coming back every day. I love that the owners of our community believe in what we do and have the trust in us to allow us to do it. They have built a safe haven for our senior population that allows our residents to be socially and mentally connected, active, properly nourished, and taken care of after they've spent countless years taking care of others. The engagement that I get with the employees is a huge reason why I come back every day as well. Seeing the employees connecting with the residents and the families has a huge impact on our overall culture here at Horton Plaza. And it's really heartwarming to watch how they interact in some of their funnest and yet sometimes most toughest moments of their lives. So I think that's my personal passion.
That's great. Erin?
Well, I've always felt a deep need to take care of people. I like to feel needed, and I love making someone feel like they're the most important person in the room, because in that moment, they are the most important person in the room. And working in senior living gives me a chance to do that every day. The stories, the connections, the little moments of trust and gratitude and the connection that I make with people, that's what keeps me coming back. To me, it's not just a job, it's a calling.
Oh, I love that. Is there a particular story or a moment that stands out? Something that reminds you of, yes, this is why I do what I do every day?
I think a big reason why I'm reminded of what we do and why it matters is seeing how our owners and management take care of our residents, even if they can't financially afford it at times. We're able to find people options, whether it's inside one of our communities or be able to find resources outside of our communities so that they are safe and taken care of in their later years in life. So I think that there's many stories behind that, but I think that that's why I love doing this work so much, is because we have the backing with the owners and the management to make sure that even though financially this might not be the right place for somebody more, that we make sure that they're either taken care of here or somewhere within our community as a whole. So I think that's one big thing for me.
Yeah, that's great. Erin?
Well, what comes to mind for me is one day I was helping a client. It wasn't a resident here, but I was doing private care. And the client said, "You make me feel like I matter." And that simple moment reminded me of why I do this work, because sometimes it's the smallest acts of kindness that have the biggest impact in those quiet, meaningful conversations that stay with you. That I will always remember that moment.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you both. You both get to witness transformation every day. In your experience, what is the biggest difference Horton Plaza makes in the lives of the residents, and maybe even more importantly, in the lives of their families?
I think it's seeing the sense of relief on family members' faces when they know that their loved ones are in a safe environment and are being engaged with on a daily basis instead of being at home by themselves. I think it helps lessen the stress so that the family members can be family instead of being a caregiver, which can oftentimes dramatically improve the relationships between the residents and their families. So I think that's one of the differences about Horton Plaza. I also think that we actually know our residents. We hear it all the times from our community members, such as home health, hospice, physical therapists, members who are out and about in retirement and assisted living communities. They say it all the time to us that, wow, you actually know your resident. And to us, we're like, yeah, of course we know our resident. But it seems like such a simple thing. But I think the simplest actions, such as knowing your resident, is what makes us different. We know our residents in and out. We know their likes, their dislikes, their story, and their stories. We know their families, and we just plain listen. And I think that is why we stand out and what makes the difference. And we're a big extended part of their family. And that's just what we do, you know? So I think that's the difference between us and them, I guess.
Love it. Erin?
Yes, and to touch a little bit on what Danielle said, that's one of the highest compliments I can get from a resident's family member. Wow, I can just be the daughter. I don't have to be the caregiver anymore. And it really enhances their relationship, which is important in the aging process. But one of the things that I love about it, how we make a difference in the residents' and families' lives. I have residents, family members come through and tell me that every single person that they meet when they walk through the door greets them with a smile and a hello. And they don't find that at the other communities. They're not just somebody walking through the door. They're like family here.
Love that. We know that not everyone walks through the front door eager to move in. And sometimes that hesitation is just a part of the journey. Can you share a story of a resident who was maybe unsure about senior living or resistant to the idea, and who later really found a sense of joy or purpose, or even maybe a whole new lease on life at Horton Plaza?
I think there's many stories about people being hesitant to move into retirement living or assisted living. But one that stands out the most to me is we recently had a couple move in from another community. They were very hesitant to move because of the experience that they had at this other community. There were many areas that they were not happy with in their current living arrangements, but the biggest area that they were concerned with was the lack of safety in their current environment. And I think that that's true to even being at home. You know, maybe there's not somebody there to check in, or maybe there's just a safety concern being at home by themselves. But these people had come back to Horton Plaza multiple times to tour, and they were really reluctant to move and hesitant to move because of the experience that they previously had. But after many visits with myself and our marketing director, Julie, they decided to make the move. The biggest hesitation was moving in general, but I believe hesitations can also come from just overall trust. Do I trust this person? Do I trust this company to do as they say that they're going to do? Should I make the leap? What questions if I don't like it? Or what happens if I don't like it? Or what if they don't do what they say? I think those are all hesitations for people and common questions. But I think hesitations and previous experiences can shape that. But this couple, they had actually moved in. And after many, many conversations and tours and walking them through this process on why this is a safe place, they're really happy. They tell all of their friends about their experience here. They tell their neighbors about their experience here. They're very engaged in our community. And it's almost like they've been here for years and they fit right in. But I think that most recently was a big transformation story on how they're thriving. But there was some trust concerns with the previous places they were at. And I think that that was pretty cool to see. So,
absolutely. Yes. Thank you. Erin, do you have a story you would like to share?
I do. On the personal care side of things, nearly every resident is hesitant to move in. They're often afraid it means giving up their independence and their freedoms. One resident really stands out. Before moving in, she was going to the ER multiple times a week and having very little family support. She really fought the move tooth and nail. But now she's been here over a year, and you wouldn't believe how she's flourishing. She's only had one ER visit during the year, and she gets her medications on time, and her overall health is improved. And she stops by our office several times a day just to chat, and she thrives on the attention and care we give her. And she trusts us and values our input. And it's just been amazing to watch her go from resistant to truly flourishing.
Oh, that's great. I love these stories. Sometimes it's not just the residents who build the bonds in your community, it's the families too. Is there a family connection or experience that stands out to you as especially meaningful or long-lasting?
There's been many meaningful connections with resident family members. There are several resident family members of residents who have passed on that I still have relationships with. I think going through the process with a family member of a resident transitioning into the light and the moments and days afterwards has the potential for long-lasting positive impacts in those relationships with staff and family.
Mhm.
Being able to be there and support each other during those difficult and sometimes beautiful moments is something that you share within those relationships. And this past year, there was a resident who lived here for almost 20 years and had passed away. And of course, we got really close to the family. They came in and joined us for events and holidays. But the resident was on hospice and her family was very supportive. All of the staff were able to go see this resident and visit her and her family before she had passed away. Everyone from the servers, the drivers, activities, housekeepers, receptionists, maintenance, front desk, personal care, and all of the managers went to visit her the last days leading up to her passing. We don't always get an opportunity to do that, nor does everyone want the same experience. But it was an amazing experience for all of us to be a part of. And I know that her family will always be grateful for that relationship that we all shared with this resident. And we continue to have a relationship with those family members since this resident had passed on. So those types of connections, I think, are really important for all of the staff here. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that.
Thank you. Wonderful stories.
Without saying names.
Right. That's wonderful. Erin, do you have one you would like to share?
I do. It's one of our current residents. It's a little more lighthearted. She absolutely loves 300-piece puzzles. They really, truly are what keep her going. In our personal care team, they go out of their way to find the puzzles. We go to thrift stores, yard sales, even asking friends just to keep her stocked with a steady supply. And her son is so touched by this. He tells us all the time how amazed he is that the staff go on above and beyond to get the puzzles. I mean, he truly can't believe it. It just warms our heart just to see the joy on his face. And he tells everyone. And now we have independent residents that stop by wanting puzzles now. It's like the domino effect. So that's really sweet.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. So one of the biggest reasons that I started this podcast is because so many people, including myself, just didn't feel prepared when it came time to navigate these big decisions with our aging parents or loved ones. And so before we wrap up today, I would love to hear what advice you would give a family member or senior who is just starting to explore senior living options.
I would tell them to explore all of their options, find out what is best for them. They need to find out what feels right. I would encourage people to shop around, take a tour of the communities in your area. Every community has a different feel, and not every community is going to be right for everyone. Although I would love to say that senior living and retirement living is right for everybody, sometimes it's not, and that's okay too. We will help guide you through that process, help you explore your options, and provide education along the way on what senior living has to offer and the benefits surrounding it. I do think is still a big stigmatism about what senior living actually is. People oftentimes think it's a nursing home or a convalescent home or frankly, just a place to go and die. That's one of the things that we hear quite often. And that's not the case at all. I think the biggest advice I could give someone is to ask questions, do your research, tour all of these places, ask about staffing longevity. I think that's really important. I would encourage them to try the food, collect all the information you can. And I would also tell them to not wait until you're in a position to where you can't take advantage of all the benefits that senior living has to offer. We often see people wait a little too long, and then this isn't the right place for them. So we want you to come here when you're ready and have fun with us. I think that's the biggest piece of advice that I could give to somebody.
Great. Thank you, Danielle. Erin, how about you?
My advice is very similar to Danielle's, is to take your time, ask lots of questions, and trust your instincts. And if you are on the fence between a couple of facilities, visit at various times during the day. Don't ever hesitate to visit as many times as you need to. but also try to keep an open heart. It's completely normal to feel uncertain and overwhelmed in the beginning of the process. And what I always tell families is that senior living isn't about giving something up. It's about gaining peace of mind, safety, and support in the sense of a new community. And it's so many times our residents and family members, as Danielle touched on, just wish they would have done this sooner because it brightens their lives and they can find the right care and connection at the end of their lives.
Yes. Wonderful. Danielle and Erin, thank you both so much for joining me today and for sharing not just your experience, but your heart for this work. Horton Plaza clearly isn't just a place to live. It's a community where people matter, where stories unfold, and where lives are enriched every day. So to our listeners, if you're exploring options for your aging parent or loved one and you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not alone. These conversations are meant to bring light, direction, and heart to a path many of us didn't plan for. So thanks again for being with us today, and we'll see you next time on Hey Mom, We Never Prepared for This. Thanks for tuning in to Hey Mom, We Never Prepared for This. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It really helps us reach more adult children and their aging parents and loved ones. Special thanks to our sponsor, Dharma Healthcare Management, for supporting the show. Stay tuned for more honest conversations to help you find peace, clarity, and community with others who understand what you're going through. And we'll see you next time on Hey Mom, We Never Prepared for This.